Amma walked into the Dakar negotiation room representing her company on a 4.7 million Ghana cedis infrastructure deal. Everything was going on perfectly until the francophone lead asked her to confirm the figures in French. She knew the number. She had worked with it for weeks. But standing in that room, in that moment, she could not say 4.7 million in French. She said 4, 7 million separately, like a child counting 1, 2, 3. The Senegalese delegation looked at each other. Her company's financial director, sitting right beside her, quietly took over. Amma did not speak again for the rest of that meeting. Ghanaian professionals who command numbers in English but phrase on those same numbers in French are leaving deals, credibility, and career opportunities on the table. Business French Africa teaches them all. Please follow us for the lesson on numbers on YouTube, Business French Africa, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you. Okay, friends, so we want to continue with the second part of our numbers. This time around, we are considering 100 to 999, okay, before 1000. So, hundreds, how do you read hundreds in French? Okay, so in French, when you say 100, it is called cent. Yes, English people, Anglophones used to say cent. It is not cent, it is cent. So 100 in French, it is called cent. All right. And then 101, it is called 101. And then it continues like that with other numbers 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. All right. Till it gets to 200. And 200 in French, it is called 200. So here you could see that the sun, there is S at the end. Yes. So what are you saying? Sun takes an S when multiplied and not followed by another number. Exactly. So 200, the S, okay, à 100, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, and so on. They take an S. But as soon as other number adds, then it changes. So for instance, when you continue with 201, okay. In French, we normally say 201. And here there is no S as ça because it is followed by another number. All right. 350 in French, it is called 350. Okay, 350. Then it continues. 999 in French, it is called 999. All right, 999. Then we are moving on to thousands, okay, in French. So now, when it comes to thousand, we know that in English, we normally say 1000, right? But in French, we don't say un mille. Okay, so 1000 in French is called mille. And we don't say un mille, okay, because mille stands alone. Okay, like the way it is in English, there's no un. All right. Now, you continue. 2000 in French, it is called 2000. A mille never takes an S, like the way sun takes S, okay, when there's no number that follows it. But when it comes to mille, there's never S to mille. All right, so like if you want to mention today's the year in which we are in, we normally say like 2026. In French will be 2226. Okay. Then you continue like that, 3000, 4000, 5000. And for instance, you also have 10,000. So 10,000 in French, it is called 10 000. Okay, 10 000. So you could see that here, the 10 000, an there is an X, okay, at the end of the this. But in French, okay, so there is an X at the end of the this. Okay, so when it is 10, we say this. But normally, when it's in the West like this, like 10,000, we don't say this mil. We say D mil. So the X becomes silent then, okay, for 10,000, D mil instead of this mil. Okay, all right. Then when you continue with 15,500, in French is 15 500. All right. 100,000 in French is 100 000. 750,000 in French is 750 000. Okay, so these are the numbers that you have for thousands, that is mil. Now, when you go beyond millions and billions, okay, what do you have in French? So this is the example that I gave in the initial stage about Amma. This is where Amma froze, okay, and this is the number that you also need to take it into consideration. So for instance, when we say 1 million in French, it is called un million. So this time around, the million here takes un, unlike the mille. Okay, million is a noun in French, so it takes un. Okay, but mille doesn't take un. So un million, that is 1 million. And then 2 million in French is 2 millions. Okay, so million takes an S in the plural form, exactly. So when it comes to millions, okay, in French, million, we normally add S to it, okay. Unlike the mille, who never takes S, but million does. So 2 millions, 3 millions, 4 millions, 5 millions. Now we move on to 4,700,000. So that will be in French 4,700,000. Okay. 15,300,000 in French 15,300,000. Okay. Now, when you finish with the millions, this time around, we are moving on to billions. Okay. And when you say billions in French, okay, French, it is called un milliard. Okay, so sometimes some people think that billion, okay, the way they say billion in English, it looks like French. Yeah, it is true. Un billion, it looks like a French name, but when it comes to billion, okay, in French, don't say also billion or billion. Rather, we say un milliard. Okay, un milliard. All right, for 1 billion. So now, all right. So that last point is critical for Ghanaian professionals working on regional contracts and investment deals. Yeah, so it is important to take this note when it comes to numbers, especially the millions. Okay. So what do you have to take note? We are saying that billion in English, okay, equals to milliard in French. So in French, most of the ending words letters are silent. So milliard, okay, in French. So un milliard, 2 milliards, 3 milliards, 4 milliards, 5 milliards. So when it comes to milliard too, it take also an S like million. Okay. Now, writing or saying un billion in a French financial document is a false friend error that will undermine your credibility instantly with any francophone financial professional. Exactly. So you need to learn very well, okay, how to distinguish the billion in English and the milliard, okay, in French. All right. Thank you very much. Our next lesson is going to be how to know some French expressions about numbers. Okay. So subscribe and then follow us for the next video. Thank you.